Hello there and welcome back. In this video I am going to cover one quite important feature in Figma, and that is an offline support. So you already know that Figma is a cloud-based software, which means that you need an internet connection if you want to use its full potential. And while working in Figma, your project is being automatically saved in the cloud, which means that you don't need to manually save the file after each change you make within the project. However, that may seem problematic when you go offline. And how does Figma handles that specific scenario, you may be asking? Well, when your device goes offline and you do make some change within your project, then Figma will store those changes locally and sync them together after you come back online. So now I'm going to try to disable an internet connection in my PC, and then we're going to see how Figma will react. So let's open up this example project from before. So now I'm going to disable here an internet connection and show you what will happen afterwards. So whenever you add here some element on the canvas, then this icon will appear and it will say offline changes will be synced with Figma when you go online. And if we actually go now online, then our project will be automatically synced with the cloud, and all those changes will be immediately updated. Okay, there we go. I'm going to remove that right now. And we're going to focus on those tools in some of the future videos of this course. For now, let's just focus on this specific topic. So now I'm going to actually show you also one more thing here. So as you can see, whenever we press this arrow on our project here, then we have one option that says show version history. And a version history is basically something like a checkpoint where we can restore our previous checkpoints as well. So for example, let's say that we create here some UI design of a mobile application, including 3 different screens, right? And after we create those 3 different screens, then we can just here create the new version history or the new checkpoint in this version history. And that checkpoint will be automatically saved here with a specified date and time. And afterwards, when we continue working on our design, for example, we create 7, 8 or even more screens than that, and we realize that we actually did something wrong, then we can just go to this version history, double click on one of those checkpoints that we have already made, and we can revert back all to that same point that we have saved previously. So by default, if you're using this free version of Figma, you have a 30-day version history. However, if you upgrade, then you will have basically an unlimited version history available in your disposal. Anyhow, let's just close that for now. And now I'm going to open up the official Figma documentation about the offline support. So it's better for you if I just go to this documentation and read all those important things that you should be definitely aware of. So as you can see here, it says that the Figma is actually designed for the browser, and the real-time collaboration is at the heart of what we actually do. So they actually don't currently support or have plans to support fully featured offline mode, because Figma is based on the cloud potential. And down below we can see some of the features which are available and not available when you are currently offline. So when you are offline, you can create layers, frames, basic shapes, Boolean operators, and vector networks. You can create and use components that are local to your file. You can make changes to layer properties, including fill, stroke, dimensions, and others. You can run plugins that don't actually rely on external browser APIs. You can save your files to your computer locally by using this Figma format or extension. So you can basically create a local copy of your project, and then you can use that copy afterwards, but that copy that you save locally will not have a version history. So that's one thing to actually remember. And as you can see here, we have an option to basically save our Figma file locally. As you can see, we can save the local copy. We can also even save the version history, so it's up to us. Anyhow, down below we can see a list of things that we actually cannot do when we are offline. So we cannot access or browse a Figma file browser. We cannot create new files or open files that you don't already have open, which is one important thing here to note. We cannot receive updates from other collaborators on that files that we have actually opened in the Figma at the moment when we are offline, of course. We cannot search for components from libraries or insert instances from libraries. We cannot install new plugins or run plugins that require external browser APIs. We cannot view a file version history or create new version history to save your changes to Figma. So when you are offline, you cannot actually do that version history creation. So it's also one important thing here to note. And you cannot, of course, use multiplayer features like seeing who is active on the file, observation mode, and multiple cursors. So those are some concepts that I'm going to introduce you later in this course as well, so no worries there. Then down below here it says that when your connection to Figma is restored, then Figma will apply changes you made to the files while you were offline, and if you have closed those affected files, you will need to basically reopen them and sync them with all those changes. So autosave feature works even if there is more than one person working offline in the same file, which is amazing. However, when you are offline and multiple persons are actually working on that same project, then after you come back online, Figma will prompt you to sync the file. And the same applies if you're working across multiple tabs, so Figma will save pending changes in each tab and then merge them when you're back online. So Figma basically saves the changes you make to your file, but not the entire file. And these changes are saved locally to your browser's indexed database and cannot be accessed from another computer or device. Now, there are a couple of cases that you need to be aware of that will not actually save your changes, even if after you come back online. So those cases are written right here. So if you're using an unsupported browser or a version of a browser, so you need to be sure that you're using the up-to-date versions of your web browser, no matter if you're using a web browser, Figma, or a desktop application. Your cache or browsing data was cleared before you connected to Figma. So for example, when you go offline and you clear your browsing cache, and when you come back online, then that can be actually problematic. Also, when your browser was in private browsing or incognito mode, or you used a shared computer or a guest account, which automatically clears the browsing data. The browser storage quota is already full and there is no room for Figma to save those changes. A browser extension prevented Figma from saving the data, and you made the changes on a different browser than the one you reconnected to Figma on. And the last thing that I want to mention here in this video is about the version history. So here it says that as a part of the autosave process, Figma will add 2 checkpoints to the file version history. So one, or the first one, before applying your offline changes, and the one after that. So these checkpoints will look like an other autosaved versions. And if you're working on a file with other people, then there may be some differences between the latest version of the file and your offline changes. Now in that case, Figma will let you know if there are any conflicting changes with the notification, and you can click review to open up the file version history or dismiss to ignore. Alright, so those were some quite important things that you should know about the offline mode within a Figma. So by default, Figma will do everything it's possible to actually save all your changes while you're offline. And as I already mentioned before, you can of course work on your current project or on your currently open project within a Figma, even if you are actually offline, because after you come back online, all those changes you made while you were offline will be automatically synced with your cloud, and everything will work the same as before. Alright, so if you have any questions about the offline mode within a Figma, feel free to comment down below, and for this video, that'll be all.